A veteran detective's tale, the rotting corpse mystery. They say dogs are a man's best friend, but what about flies? Most people find them disgusting, vectors of disease, breeding in filth. Yet to forensic entomologists, these tiny creatures are invaluable allies in solving crimes. The relationship between insects and corpses often reveals secrets hidden from the naked eye. This story takes place near Lake Wilmore, a secluded body of water nestled in the outskirts of a Midwestern town. Its serene wetlands and untouched nature make it an ideal getaway. But one summer afternoon, the lake became the scene of a horrifying discovery. It was an oppressively hot day when an avid fisherman arrived at the lake, eager to cast his line. Just as he was setting up his rod, a rustling sound caught his attention. A jackrabbit darted from the brush. Instinctively, he gave chase, weaving through tall grass and dense undergrowth. The rabbit vanished, but in its place, an unbearable stench filled the air. He turned, scanning the area. A strange buzzing sound echoed from nearby. Pushing aside the tall weeds, he stumbled upon a grotesque sight. A human body, swollen and covered in writhing maggots, lay half concealed in the brush. A cloud of flies erupted as he reflexively hurled a rock toward the corpse. Staggering backward in horror, he bolted from the scene and immediately called 911. When detectives and forensic teams arrived, they confirmed the worst. It was the body of a woman in an advanced state of decomposition. Her head was grotesquely swollen, her lips peeled back, eyes bulging from her bloated face. Her abdomen had distended unnaturally, her limbs stiff and enlarged. The oppressive humidity had accelerated decomposition, and the thick, pungent odor of death hung in the air. Amid the chaos of rot, investigators turned their attention to the one thing that would tell them more than the body itself: the insects. Flies had laid their eggs inside the woman's orifices, her mouth, nose, ears, and even her lower body. This was common forensic knowledge. Flies prefer warm, moist areas for egg-laying. But there was something odd. Clusters of maggots also wriggled on her lower chest, stomach, and forearm. Why was that unusual? Because maggots also prefer wounds. This meant she hadn't died a natural death. She had been stabbed multiple times. Even in death, she had fought to reveal her story. Further examination uncovered another unsettling detail: a faint ligature mark around her upper thigh. Someone had tied something around her body, perhaps to restrain her, or worse, to transport her. Then came the footprints, two distinct patterns in the soft earth. One belonged to a dress shoe, the other to a sneaker. Two suspects, two accomplices in this grim act. As forensic teams pieced together their findings, another clue surfaced: tiny red ants clinging to the corpse. These ants weren't native to the lake's ecosystem. They were household ants, commonly found in residential areas. Could this mean she had been killed elsewhere and dumped here? Detectives scoured recent missing person reports, but none matched the victim. The lake wasn't a known crime hotspot. Whoever left her here had wanted her hidden. But someone had been watching. A local retiree reported seeing a man on a motorcycle loitering near the area days before the discovery. He didn't fish, didn't hike, he just stood watching. And when he realized he wasn't alone, he left. Detectives traced the man's description to a local mechanic, Daniel Brooks. When questioned, he played it cool, claimed he was just passing through. But his alibi had a hole. He said he had been in Chicago on vacation. Yet when investigators checked, the location he claimed to have visited had been closed for renovations that week. With mounting suspicions, detectives set a trap. A minor traffic infraction led to an accidental detainment, where Daniel's motorcycle was impounded for further inspection. A forensic sweep uncovered traces of fabric fibers stuck to a screw on the bike's frame. When matched against the victim's clothing, it was a perfect match. But that wasn't the most damning discovery. On the frame, tied with a small rusted wire, was a cut-off loop of metal, something too strong to be casually twisted off. It had been intentionally severed. With this evidence, police obtained a warrant to search Daniel's home. They found no immediate signs of struggle, but something felt off. The floors had been chemically scrubbed. A UV light scan revealed a tiny spot of blood near the bedpost. And in the garbage, crumpled in a corner, a torn piece of curtain, one that perfectly matched fibers found on the motorcycle. It was enough to make an arrest. But there was one more twist. Under interrogation, Daniel remained composed, even defiant, until detectives brought in his wife, Margaret. Her demeanor was different. Her hands trembled, her gaze darted nervously. Then they noticed the faint scratches on her forearm. It didn't take long for her to break. In a fit of jealous rage, Margaret had confronted Daniel's mistress, a woman he had met at a massage parlor. What began as a heated argument turned deadly when Margaret, seething with betrayal, grabbed a kitchen knife and stabbed the young woman multiple times. The crime had been impulsive, but covering it up wasn't. Panicked, she called Daniel, who arrived at the scene to find the lifeless body. Instead of turning her in, he devised a plan to dispose of the evidence. Wrapping the corpse in a curtain, he used his motorcycle to transport it to the lake, where he and Margaret dumped it under the cover of night. They even staged a last-minute vacation to create an alibi, but like all secrets, this one couldn't stay buried. Daniel confessed, though he tried to take the fall entirely. But forensic evidence, paired with Margaret's confession, sealed their fate. Both were convicted, Margaret for second-degree murder, Daniel for aiding and abetting. Their once idyllic suburban life was over. And the young woman? She had merely wanted love, perhaps a better life. Instead, she became a victim of passion, betrayal, and impulse. Life has a way of unraveling the lies we tell ourselves. And in the end, the dead always tell their own story. Through the silent whispers of insects, the overlooked details of a crime scene, and the weight of guilt that no one can escape. If you enjoyed this chilling true crime story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales from the shadows of reality. Until next time, stay safe and watch your back.